Okay. Well, here I am with Dr. Tony Pardo, a member of Temple Emanuel and a nominee for the Temple Board. So, Tony, thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, how are you?
Doing fine. Struggling, I think, through the times that we are all enjoying right now. It seems like I don't know which plague we're in. Is it 5 or 6? And how many more are there?
Yeah, there have definitely been some challenging things to digest and work through and try to figure out how to make it through each day.
Yeah, and I think it's going to test our resilience. And I think that, people as a whole are resilient. And I can see that at work. I can see that in my environment, and hopefully we'll continue to adapt and have good things come out of it. That's the only thing you can hope for.
For sure. We hope that we will emerge from this stronger, not just as a community, but each of us individually, mentally, physically. Certainly something we can pray for and hope for.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. So I'm here to talk to you about your role at Temple, and just because we come from all over this community, what neighborhood do you live in?
My wife and I live in Mount Lebanon. We live on Arden Lane, which is a nice, quiet little dead-end street next to Beverly. Kind of, northern Mount Lebanon, very convenient to the downtown and convenient to the Beverly shops. It's actually kind of a nice little neighborhood.
Nice. And you've lived there for a long time, because I know you've been involved at Temple for a long time.
27 years this August. Yeah.
Wow.
We moved here in 1993. We moved here from Tennessee, from Knoxville. When I decided to leave the university where I was teaching and start a veterinary practice here. So we moved our kids and moved our family and have been here ever since.
Well, it's our good fortune that you enjoyed it enough to stay for all these years.
It has been a tremendous move for us, and I wouldn't have changed anything.
Wonderful. So what brought you to Temple? How long have you been involved there, and what has your involvement been?
Yeah, so my involvement in Temple has been a whole lot less than my wife's. Obviously, Amy is taught there on Wednesday nights for a long time until a few years back, and she's been a little bit more involved than I have. I think part of my problem was just being too involved and incredibly involved in my business and trying to keep things going. And whenever I wasn't there, trying to devote time to my kids and my family. But I've always been extremely connected spiritually and emotionally to my Jewish side. Other than, I've been very involved for about 26 years now in the B'nai B'rith Bowling League that a number of Temple members as well as Bethel members go to, and ran that for a long time until I handed the reins to a couple of other people. So my involvement has been peripheral, but always deep.
Well, this is a side question, but are you going to be able to return to bowling anytime soon?
We're hoping so. Yeah, we'll start in September. We usually start the Saturday or the Sunday after Labor Day. So I'm hoping that by then we're not experiencing a second wave of COVID-19 and that we're actually able to go back and bowl. I think everybody's looking forward to it. It's a really nice group of about 32, 33 folks that come together, and it's great camaraderie and great fun.
Yeah, great. I hope you do get to go back. That'll mean a lot of things have returned to a semblance of normalcy.
Yep.
So you agreed to serve on the Temple board during really interesting times, and certainly a time that is going to define our future moving forward at Temple and in the community. How did they convince you to do that?
So it's the conventional arm twisting. So it's really two things. I think I was approached at a vulnerable time when I've kind of resolved a few things in my life that I don't have to be as heavily involved with. 2 or 3 people approached me and said, we really think you should be involved, and I think you can be involved. and sort of self-reflecting and realizing I'm on a couple of other boards, and I've obviously been very involved in the board on the big specialty practice that I'm part of, and I've been involved in some other private practice boards. So I think I've got some experience and hopefully some wisdom that I've gained over the years to help out with. And I just felt like, the arm twisting was one, but at the end of the day, I said, it's time for me to get involved and do something productive and more visible. And it's also, I think, for me, an opportunity to meet a lot more folks at Temple that I really should have known better. And I feel bad that I haven't known better for all these years we've lived here.
So it seems in part like the timing's right, that
the timing is right. There's partly some guilt in not having been involved more in the past. But I think a little bit of excitement too. This is an opportunity to help shape and guide Temple in difficult. Well, I shouldn't say difficult times. New times. Things are changing, and it not just because of COVID and all the other things that are going on, but Temple life is going to be different than it was 20 years ago. It has to be. Sure.
And we have Rabbi Meyer joining our community, and a whole different set of goals and principles to follow, and it is a very exciting time for us.
Yep.
So I was, go ahead.
No, that I was just agreeing.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you what you're looking forward to, but I think you already shared a little bit of that. Is there anything as a board member you're looking forward to being a part of that's different than getting to know people and overcoming your guilty feelings, perhaps, for not being involved sooner?
No, I think understanding a little better, what makes Temple go, not just the finances, but I mean, the Temple family of support that keeps the place running. I think I'm really interested to see how we attract the generation that now needs to become involved at Temple. How do we address those folks who clearly have a different expectations than my generation had? It's a new reality, and how well we adapt to that is going to define how successful we are at being a vibrant community. Amy and I talk about that all the time, and I'm interested to see what other leaders in the group think and how we're going to engage the new generations to keep this place vibrant.
Yeah, that's great. That is absolutely something on our agenda, how we can keep our community growing and vibrant, as you mentioned. So what do you do when you're not going to be working with the board at Temple? What are things that you do in your spare time that you enjoy?
What do I like to do? I like to fish. I started fly fishing when we were in Tennessee, and I don't go very often, but I really love it. I obviously bowl. I'm actually in 2 bowling leagues. So not only the B'nai B'rith Bowling League, but we're also in a group of us are in a bowling league on Monday nights, which is a very competitive one. I enjoy that. Amy and I like to go out and outdoors and do things, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting kayaks back out in the water and doing something more productive, and like fooling around in our garden. Just simple things.
Yeah. Any suggestions for parks to visit or places to kayak, or I don't even know, is there fly fishing around here?
There's a lot of fly fishing in Western Pennsylvania. The Laurel Highlands, definitely. And obviously the middle of the state is absolutely classic waters around State College. But there are places, Oil Creek north of here, the Youghiogheny River. We haven't gone out kayaking much at all. So this is a new thing. We bought kayaks at the end of last season. And so we're looking forward to actually, doing something with them. And this, the weather is just getting to the point where we want to be out there.
Right. Well, thank you for talking with me and for letting us get to know you a little bit better online. Sure. And I'm looking forward to working with you in the weeks and months and years to come. And I'm glad that you're part of our Temple family.
Thank you. And I'm very glad to be part of it as well. And I look forward to working with you and Rabbi Meyer and the rest of the group. So onward and forward.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.